I spent the last 4 years tracking what cold audiences actually download and buy from both paid and organic traffic sources. And what I discovered will change the way that you think about lead magnets forever. Because here's what I couldn't figure out. Why my clients' most downloaded and best cost per lead freebies were the ones with the lowest sales. Why were cold audiences behaving so differently? And why was the conversion rate dropping the more valuable type of freebies that we offered them? I used to run an ads and funnel agency and still to this day work with a lot of 6 and 7-figure entrepreneurs to grow their business and scale their one-to-many or group-based offers. And I've been able to help clients generate over thousands of new customers. But in 2022, I was about to lose my biggest client that we had burned through over $10,000 in ad spend with her getting great cost per leads for her quiz, but no sales were actually happening, even though all the targeting, all the metrics were hitting the right benchmarks. Because she still would get around less than 1% conversion rate, which for even her warm audience is significantly lower than before. So here's what we did. I realized something was fundamentally wrong with how I understood cold audience psychology. And then I discovered a pattern that kept happening from those not successful lead magnets, and I want to share it with you here so that you don't make the next lead magnet or keep promoting ad spend to a lead magnet isn't helping getting any sales or customers, because that's the entire point. So let's dive in. So the questions we're going to answer and help you answer in this video is going to be why most lead magnets generate zero or little sales, especially as you scale them up and go beyond just your warm subscribers. Because what if I told you that everything we thought about lead magnets is backwards, especially in today's day and age with how buyers are consuming information? And what if cold subscribers, cold audience members don't want what we think they do, especially if your lead magnet is, as you'll see, more information heavy? And most importantly, what do the successful ones haven't, and how can we use it for ourselves? So as I hinted about at the intro, the trend I kept seeing in 2022 was I kept blaming traffic quality for when I was an ad agency. I actually had great client results. They were getting phenomenal cost per leads from like $1 to $3. I had clients who had good sales, but then there would become a pattern where in different niches and even the targeting was set up great, the ad copy was hitting, all the metrics were showing, but something wasn't converting people, wasn't converting a funnel that was already proven many times before with warm audience. So at first, as everyone does, I blamed the traffic quality. I was like, oh, maybe it's just the ads. Like maybe I'm not good at targeting. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's like I will always take on the blame first as a service provider and see how I can change it. So change the copy, change the landing page, change the copy, change the targeting, switched up different types of ad types, and it still wasn't really moving the needle that much from the sales perspective. Again, cost per lead was great, but at the end of the day, people don't want just leads. They want the sales. As business owners, we don't just want leads. We want more customers. So attempt number 2 was like, okay, I changed all these surface level stuff. Maybe I need to go one layer deeper, which is what most ad agencies or service providers would do, where they'd look at the landing page copy and say, maybe the landing page isn't as convincing. Maybe it's something is missing, adding in more testimonials, adding in more screenshots, adding in more convincing bullet points. Did that. Still nothing really working. And at that point, after it had been multiple different iterations and testing, I started to realize that what if the lead magnet itself was the problem? And it's not that the problem was the lead magnet wasn't good. People loved it. They would send thank you responses, and it's not a bad thing that people love what you do. We'll talk about that in the next video. But when we're talking about sales, what was happening was a phenomenon of having a good lead magnet, but then it not priming people to purchase. So then I started taking a different lens with my ad agency clients, and fast forward, it's been 4 years, and now I am a done-for-you consultant service provider. And what I would notice after the last 4 years from the client I mentioned above, and also the 50 plus different business owners that I have helped audit their landing page and lead magnet funnel to help convert more cold audiences, was a very specific pattern. So the first one I saw, and this is something that is a specific type of pattern, and I want to see if you can pick it up before I give it to you. So the first one is an audit around a blogger and course creator. Her lead magnet was a state park trip planner. So it was like a ready-made easy workshop that was free, and it gave a great promise. It gave a lot of value. So it talked about itineraries, how long to stay in these parks. But then her paid offer, the one that they would see literally after they put in their name and email, like a tripwire, would then take them to a planning made easy workshop. And the issue, and we'll talk about this in the second video, is it was having the crucial second mistake I kept seeing around business owners, where their freebie was actually cannibalizing their paid offer. And it was making it harder for people to understand why to buy a paid course when you solved already a part of my problem for free. And that is a huge part of what I see happening for lead magnets, where yes, you should create lead magnets that are focused on the topic that your paid offer solves. Too often, we approach them and they're too close, they're too linear, they solve too good of a problem. And people actually don't then realize, oh, do I really even need your paid offer? If you're wondering if that's you, check out this next video. But even with the second audit that I saw, and again, I'm giving you, this is second audit out of 50. The themes are the same no matter the 20 plus niches that I've done this with. So this one was for a business coach running ads to her signature program. She had a personality style quiz, which is very common nowadays. It's great for ads for cost per leads. Her cost per leads were at $1 a lead. She was getting dozens of leads per day. And everything else was showing that benchmarks were good, but her sales had stalled. And I was realizing this glaring issue that I want to share about as well, because this is another issue that I kept seeing, which is that she was creating a freebie that was getting good engagement, but creating them for a passive consumer, passive behavior. Think about whenever you've done a quiz before, you like click the buttons, you find out your result, and then you're like, okay, I go on with the rest of my day, I'm done. And that's the issue, is that it wasn't that a quiz is ever bad. Whenever I'm talking to people about thinking through what lead magnet to choose, is if you're going to choose a quiz or something that's like a bite-sized type of lead magnet, like a checklist or something, you need to have a secondary lead magnet that creates more of the aha moment, more of that depth and trust building that a quiz or checklist or PDF can't do for you, at least in the ways that a lot of people approach. So with the third audit I kept seeing for this wellness coach, and this is something I see so often with clients, is because they've been in business for so long, they have a ton of lead magnets because they're trying to see what works. Had a stress tip checklist, a meditation, a resource roundup, I think a couple others, I just can't remember, there's so many at that time. And what I noticed was that the lead magnets, which is very common, were all information heavy, but for her advanced skeptical buyers, they weren't booking calls, because when people are wanting to have a lead magnet lead to a call or a purchase, that is the highest ask you can ask someone. That is the highest trust type ask you can ask someone. And if you haven't built enough of that trust, enough of that depth, enough of that aha moment for them, they're not going to book, they're not going to buy. And what I kept seeing were, again, these patterns. And the first pattern, as we talked about for the audit number one, is information overload. You've probably heard this one before, and it's why I'm going to kind of run through it fast, because information overload is very common. It was very, very common, especially in the 2017 to 2024 era, where we were just trying to give as much as we could. There's a lot of those like 7-step PDFs, those multiple video series, those free mini courses that tout hours of free stuff. And the issue is that's not helping your people prime to purchase. And instead, we have to go and think about it in a different way, the smart approach, if you will. And this is something that you can take with you as you go into your lead magnet if you're wanting help creating a better one to prime your purchase. We'll talk about that in a second. But the smart approach is something to kind of use as an audit for your current lead magnets. The first one being, is it skeptical proof? So that building trust immediately. And building trust does not mean that you have to give all of your stuff for free. I'd actually say don't do that, as I'll talk about in the next video. Skeptical proof just means that what you're giving is either an insight, a lesson, or some type of exercise or case study moment that creates an aha for them. And it's part of what comes in to taste the transformation, the tea, because skeptical people don't just want to be thrown more information at them. You have to co-create, you have to collaborate with them and find a way to get them to have an aha moment, to have that either limiting belief be changed. The objections they're already having need to be addressed inside of your lead magnets beyond just like your sales sequence. The minimal commitments, like lower the barrier. Again, this is about really cultivating the taste type of transformation, where we really need to make sure that what we're giving them is not a 20-page document. I've also been part of that as well. And there are certain times where a 20-page document might work for different types of audiences, but for most people who are in the B2B, but especially B2C, that is not the lead magnet for you to do, because it is too much work for them to do. It's going to overwhelm them. And then the lead magnet is their first experience working with you. Think of it as its first container, because your social media, your ads are the first glance, but this is the first impression of what it's like to work with you, because you have spent time creating and cultivating this first experience working with you. So if they end up leaving feeling overwhelmed, they're going to mentally associate with, oh, wow, then if this left me overwhelmed for free, then what's going to be paid is even more intense. And especially in today's day and age where so many people are stretched thin from having to take on multiple responsibilities, multiple jobs due to economy, so many other things are on people's plate more than ever before. Which means if we're creating our first impression with people to be overwhelming, to be stress inducing, then of course they're not going to be ready to buy from us after, even if the information itself is gold, because they're not going through it and they're not digesting it and having that aha moment we need them to have. Because you can still have authority building without having to give them 1,000 things or 10 steps to do. The best lead magnets are centralized to one main idea, one main light bulb based moment. You can have it in different approaches. You can have it in different email challenges. You can have it in different mediums, but you have to understand that if we are approaching lead magnets for cold audiences, we have to focus on how they buy, on how they approach things. And it is not through information. It is through transformation. It is through experiential. Like if you can think about that, about your lead magnet, is what is the experience people need to have before they buy from you? You can ask your previous clients or customers to get a better idea. But even then, a lot of this comes down to knowing what is the trust level that your offer needs to have. And I talk about this a lot in the 3 paths and opt-ins that pays off, that the different offer price you have and the different main buyer types you have will actually help you choose your lead magnet for you. Instead of trying to just create things all the time, use ChatGPT to try and create some ideas. Even they try and do deep research and it doesn't always hit the same way, because what we're not realizing is that the buyer behavior has changed, but the information out there talking about the lead magnets has not. And I just need to help more people be able to realize for cold audiences, it is not about giving them more stuff that actually will do you a disservice. It's about creating an aha moment, a light bulb moment that is part of a digestible format for them, that creates that taste of transformation, that even the most skeptical buyers will say like, wow, that actually did help me. And still create a door open then to be like, that helped me, but now I still have this main pain that I need help with. And that's where your paid offer comes in. We'll talk about that more in the next video, about the cannibalization of paid offers that happens a lot with lead magnets. But for now, if you want a quick win, first, take your lead magnet through SMART and see if it stacks up. If you want a quick win that you can use to your lead magnet opt-in page right now, I do have a free call to action, high converting generator down below. You can click that and use that for at least helping optimize one part of your lead magnet funnel, which is going to be your buttons. You can also use this across all of your pages and emails going forward. And if you're wanting to dive into even more, there is the opt-in that pays off course. Even if you want to go to this just to scroll down and read what I mentioned about the paths. So this is just showing you the selection framework that I found through having to track this for 4+ years, is that there is different paths based on the type of freebies your people need from the offer, and then matching it with the buyer type. And that's what creates the best type of lead magnet for your offers. For people who have multiple offers, because I know a lot of my clients have multiple offers, this is where you have to know how to weave things in better to help all those type of buyers, but also fill in your other offers without it feeling overwhelming. And that's what I try and talk about more in this. But even if you were to just for now go through and take your lead magnet through this, that's a great first step. Second thing, go watch the next video where I talk more about the cannibalization of your paid offer, because that's something I'm seeing a lot happen right now in the online space. And if I could help save you from spending more money or more time promoting an offer that's not actually helping you get more customers, that would be a pleasure of mine. So I'll see you next video, and happy selling.